Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of DC Football 101. I'm your host, Lucas, and I have a very special guest joining me this time. We're in the off-season already, and I got Darren DH Williams of Breaking Command Entertainment on YouTube, and he's the host of the Afternoon Kick. DH, what is going on, my man?
Hey, Lucas, man, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, it's been a crazy week, but I'm glad that I get to talk DC football with you Sunday night, man.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here too, man. Like, you know, we're coming off the high of the season that we just had, and that we're already into the off season, and things are happening. You know what I'm saying? We're still relevant into the off season, so it's a beautiful thing. It's always something to talk about, and I'm glad to be here to talk with you, man. Right here.
Absolutely. Speaking of being relevant in the offseason, we had the first domino drop here in terms of transactions. Commanders traded a 5th-round pick for San Francisco 49er wide receiver Deebo Samuel. That's a big deal, man. I mean, I knew we were in the talks. I wasn't sure if we were going to go out and get him. But let me just ask you real quick, What are your thoughts on the trade, and how does he fit into this offense?
Well, first of all, man, my thoughts on the deal, I loved it. Adam Peters is being aggressive. He understands that Super Bowl window right now for them is wide open with Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal and the way that they performed this past season. So that window is wide open right now, and you got to take full advantage of that while you have that, right? So going out and getting Deebo Samuel, who had a down year last year, but I think he fits perfect in this offense with some of the things that Cliff Kingsbury likes to do. Giving the ball to receivers in the run game, reverses, different things like that. Deebo can definitely do that, and then you instantly have a number 2 wide receiver in your offense. The way Deebo likes to work, he can get the catch and he can go downhill. He's not scared to run through you. He's that dog kind of guy that this team needs, and it just helps add on to the identity, of this Commanders ball club. And man, I'm just excited that it's happening, man. And like you said, the first domino to fall, or the first team making a big time move like this is showing that they understand where they are, and it's showing how aggressive they're going to need to be. And frankly, we're in an arms race right now with Philadelphia, so we got to do what we can to make sure that we can overtake them this year.
Absolutely. You made a lot of great points. Let me just tack on a few things here. So first off, he had a down year last year because of injury. 49ers were just underachieving. You know what? And here's the other thing. He's never played with a quarterback like JD5. He never played, man. Never had that. I mean, no offense to Brock Purdy. I mean, he got to a Super Bowl. Kudos to him. But he ain't no Jaden Daniels. Okay?
Nah, he's not, man. And to your point with that, you look at guys around the league where they said, Washington has now become a destination because you look at the talent that we have at the quarterback position. That position has always been a question in previous years, and now that answer is locked up. And you see how exciting it is to play with Jaden Daniels, who's an ascending talent. So if you're able to wiggle your way and get on this side of town, man, get into the Washington Commanders, it's going to be advantageous for you to come on this side, man. It's a good time over here.
Absolutely. And, we did not have a yak guy last year, not a yards after carry. This is exact after catch or carry for this point for Deebo, because he does a little bit of everything. But look, he's going to fill in that role. Is he going to have that breakout season again? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the point. He's going to bring, when Curtis Samuel was here, he did do a lot of the same things that I expect to see from Deebo. Only Deebo's going to do it at a much better time. And he's only 29 years old.
Yeah,
I know he has a little bit of wear and tear on the body, but look, JD5 going to have him straight, man. He's going to have him straight. He's going to get him to the open spots. I think it's just going to be a completely different dimension to the offense. And, a lot of people are like, oh, watch out for the rookies slump. Having Deebo Samuel on your team is going to prevent that, is going to help mitigate that a lot.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that rookie slump, man.
Yeah.
I think that's people trying to convince themselves that they know more than the experts, right? And every year, like they said, C.J. Stroud had a rookie slump. Well, C.J. Stroud made it back to the playoffs, and they won a playoff game, right? So
preach it, exactly.
I mean, I don't know if that's a slump, then I don't know what it is. But
his wide receiver core was decimated with injury. That's what happened, and his O-line is like so.
Absolutely. So I don't think he'll have a slump. I think if they're measuring getting to the NFC Championship as, the marker. Okay, all right,
maybe that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but as far as his performance or how he'll play, no, man, I think he'll have an MVP caliber performance this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the main reason why I brought DH on the show here, though, is because we are a part of 13 Rings. This is just a sideshow that we do for 13 Rings. But I really wanted to get into some nitty gritty Commanders offseason stuff, and my man DH, he has all the knowledge here. I'm going to defer to him. But we're going to break down our free agents. Commanders have, I believe, 28 free agents?
Yeah,
sound
whole
about right?
Bunch, man, whole
yeah.
bunch.
So we got 3 categories. We got keepers, we got they're gone, we got on the bubble. Okay. So we're going to go with the keepers first. DH, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
It's your show, man. You choose. You can go first. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll go first, but next time you're going to go first for the gone, okay? So keepers, this is who I got. Bobby Wagner. You need that leadership. I don't care what you say. I don't care if he's old or not. Bring him back, right?
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. You need a good veteran backup for a young quarterback. I don't see why you change it, right?
Yeah.
Jeremy Chin. You got one of our safety positions covered. I'm even okay with Quan Martin too, but if we upgrade, we upgrade. But Jeremy Chin got to be part of that safety room, okay? Zach Ertz, even if he's a step slower next year, you still bring him back because of that leadership and that connection with JD5. You got to, right? Tressway, leadership in the locker room, all-pro punter. I don't even think there's much debate there. Now, this is where we get into some, maybe not some as known names, but I'm going to say Trent Scott. He was a plug-and-play player on the offensive line. You could put him almost anywhere, and he was good. So I'm going to say Trent Scott for sure. Special teamer Nick Bellora. I'm going to, and if I butcher any of these guys' names, please let me know. I'm not great at enunciating.
No.
Yeah. So Nick Bellora, I don't see why we don't bring him back. He was a solid special teamer. Jalen Holmes, I liked what he did on the D-line. I liked what he did. I don't mind bringing him back. He's going to be on a cheap deal. I don't mind that. Same thing with Sheldon Day. I think they were both young, high-energy guys coming off the bench for the rotation. I like it. And then Noah Brown. Look, we might upgrade the wide receiver position, and I don't think this is the only one that's going to, this isn't the only move with Deebo that's going to happen here. But I think that, Noah Brown is still a bigger body receiver. We still need somebody like that. And you know what? That Hail Mary kind of got him another year. So why not, right? So even if he's not starting, you still want to have him on the team. So do you want to add or take away anybody on that list?
Well, I want to add, man.
Okay, let's hear it.
I want to add and take away. So I'm going to switch Browns, man. I want De'Ami Brown to be back.
You want De'Ami?
Yeah,
okay.
The Tar Heel, you know what I'm saying? I want De'Ami to be back, and I want Noah Brown gone.
Okay.
Noah Brown is 29 years old. He's been around in the league a little while, but I think he's on the other side of his career.
Okay.
And De'Ami Brown has more upside, him only being in his fourth, going into his fifth year, still a 25-year-old guy. And then you showed what he can do in the playoffs, right, with the run he had in the playoffs. I think with a more concerted effort to getting him the ball, and especially you look at a situation now, if he's brought back, he can be that guy that can take the top off the defense and not have to be counted on to be like a number 2 wide receiver, if that's going to be Deebo. I also think he'll have a few more options. And look, I mean, he already has the continuity with Jaden Daniels, so I think he will fit right in with staying with this squad. And I think you may be able to get him for a cost-effective rate. So I would add De'Ami and take off Noah Brown. And I think other than that, the list looks pretty good to me. Only caveat I say with this list that you gave is that you got to draft the guys behind them. So if you're gonna keep Zach Ertz, you got to have a young tight end.
So is Ben Sinnott not going to be the tight end of the future, man?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think this offense works better in 12 personnel. So if you can have 2 good tight ends on the field, maybe a blocking tight end or a pass catching tight end, or 2 tight ends that can really stretch the field, I think it would be beneficial. So I'm hoping Ben Sinnott can come along this year so they can do more 12 personnel things and allow them to be more versatile in the offense. But yeah, man, I think Ben Sinnott, I think he'll come around. But I still think you got to draft another tight end behind him.
I mean, this is a deep tight end draft. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I hear you. My own and Diami was on the bubble for me in terms of players. My thing is, in 3 games against the Eagles, he had 2 fumbles.
Yep, got you.
I can't ignore that, man.
For sure,
I can't ignore that.
I see that, right? But look at it, man. We're looking at 2 specific games, and then look at the team that you mentioned, the Philadelphia Eagles. They caused a lot of forced fumbles this year all together, right? So I think that's something that's fixable. I mean, he may have had 2 fumbles in that game, but overall, I believe maybe did he have 3 fumbles this year?
Maybe 3
total. Yeah. So I don't look at it as that much of a thing for me. I look at more of the upside of what he showed in the playoffs versus what he didn't show. Like, he got better with the drops. He didn't have any drop issues this year, and he came up big in some crucial situations. So, and that's what you want from your guys that you may have had questions about. So for me, not just because he's the Tar Heel, but because he's played exceptionally well. And of those back end receivers in our offense, I think he's the only one you keep. I don't think Crowder will be back. I don't think KJ Osborne will be back. I know I'm probably messing up how you had it going on.
Just to get into your they're gone list. Like, you tell me your gone list. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think Cleveland Farrell is definitely gone. I think KJ Osborne is definitely gone. I think Dante Fowler Jr. is definitely gone. Michael Davis is gone. Jamison Crowder. I think Noah Igbenogany is gone as well. Partly because he's gonna have to give up that number 1 anyway. But I think he's gone. And then you look at the kicking situation. I think Zane Gonzalez is gone, but not do anything to him. I mean, he played well in his spot.
He just can't. He can't kick the ball deep on kickoffs. That's his problem.
He's gone. I think McNichols is gone. And they're gonna bring the Cyborg back. And I think Derek Forrest is gone.
Okay, so we have some similarities, but a lot of differences. I'm not gonna lie. Sure. Here's my gone list: KJ Osborne, same one there. Michael Davis, got to be gone. I just no, he can't be played. Michael Dieter.
Also, I left out one person.
Okay,
Benjamin St. Juste.
Thank you.
I left him on my back.
Michael Dieter.
Yeah.
Benjamin St. Juste, he got to be gone. I'm sorry. I hope you nothing but the best, but no, sir, you can't play in this defense. Jeff Driscoll, he's gone.
Yeah.
I think you bring Sam Hartman in as the 3rd QB this year.
Okay.
Have him as the emergency one. Mikael Walker, didn't see anything spectacular from him. He's gone. John Bates, I think, like you said, you draft somebody else, or, you elevate Ben Sinnott, but either way, Bates, I just don't see him coming back, right?
Got you.
Chris Rodriguez, gone. I mean, he was basically gone for most of last year. I don't even know if I'm going to say this guy's name right. Haggy Chisholm Dubuyasi. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Good luck with that one. I ain't going to try
But if I can't pronounce your name and I don't remember seeing you on the field, you're gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jamison Crowder, like you said, he's gone. I like Jamison, but you got somebody to replace him. You know who you got? You got Luke McCaffrey. So I'm okay with that. And then, like you said, Derek Forrest. I think he's gone too. So I think, we have some similarities, but let's get to the bubble guys here. So you mentioned some of the guys that I have on my bubble you say are gone. Cleveland Farrell, I think for the right price, you can bring him back. Right price. Dante Fowler, I hope we bring him back.
Gotcha.
But it has to be about the price. He's 31. He's going to be, 31 this year?
Yeah.
I don't want to pay more than a 2-year contract to him, and I'm sure somebody else is going to pay him more.
Yeah. And he wants to get paid. This is an opportunity for him after coming off a double-digit sack year. Like, he struck while the iron was hot. So I don't think, because it is a deep defensive line draft, I don't think they're going to spend the money to keep him. And also, I think free agency, I think they'll do this like they did last year. So I don't foresee them keeping a lot of the D linemen from last year.
Well, yeah, this is a deep D-line draft. I expect them to hit that hot and often in the draft.
Yeah.
Cornelius Lucas, you got Brandon Graham. I don't see him coming back. You want to give Graham the full reins this year. Noah Iggy, I can't see him coming back. I can't see Iggy coming back. But he's on the bubble. Alameda Zacchaeus, he's on the bubble for me too.
Yeah.
He could be back. I like him as a possession guy, route runner, but he's replaceable. And I said Diami already. Jerry McNichols, he's on the bubble. I like McNichols. He was our best pass blocker. He was our best pass blocker last year. I could see him coming back. Zane and Austin, honestly, it's a toss-up for me. It depends on what you want. Austin cost us that Cowboys game. Granted, he was injured, but still that left a sour taste. I do like Austin. I like Zane too. Zane just isn't good at kickoffs. That's the thing. Zane was a good field goal kicker. I don't have any problems despite his like mental breakdown in the wild card game. But no, I it's a toss up for me. Who did you have on your bubble?
Well, pretty much whoever I didn't mention was on the bubble. Like my main bubble person is Alameda Zacchaeus. I think he played well at times for us, but I think this all depends upon how many receivers that they decide to keep and what they're going to do. I mean, you saw last year they
could draft another guy
for sure. Oh, they're definitely drafting a receiver.
Yeah,
like no question. I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted 2 receivers, like one earlier than the other, and then one late. But like him, I mean, he's getting ready to turn 28. You want to go younger. I think the whole premise of this, like the Commanders knew that this was going to happen, right? When you bring in guys on 1-year deals, you know that you're going to have to replace them almost immediately. I think the issue that comes into play is that the success that we had last year. So I think even in a lot of fans' eyes and what a lot of people may see is that how some of these guys performed in a 1-year setting to keep them guys around. I don't really think that their plan is to bring a lot of these guys back because that's what they were. They were 1-year rentals. If we're being realistic, I think maybe of the guys they brought in last year and the free agent class, I mean, as I see, I believe we have 30 right now that's free agents. I think they might keep 10 of them.
Yeah, they might. Yeah,
they might keep 10, and then they're gonna still retool the roster through free agency and by drafting. So I think what happens is the success that they had last year was unsuspected. Yeah. So some of these guys may have better value around the league, and some guys have better value within the ball club, depending upon how the fans see them, only because of their performance last year. But like I say this, man, in a 1-year situation, the organization was able to really use their free agency effectively and get the right guys around to go get wins.
Absolutely, yeah. No, look, I mean, like I said, I would love to have Dante Fowler back. Diami, I'm okay with. Lamade, I'm okay with. Noah, right situation, backup corner, that would be great. McNichols, backup. Like, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to see how they're gonna. You know what? Adam Peters has proven he is a competent executive. I'm not going to question the process. He's already hit a 4th round pick for Deebo Samuel. That's a really good deal. I don't care if he had it down. It's a very good deal,
man. The 49ers didn't want to pay him, and Deebo wants to get paid, right? So how do you get paid? You go you have a year of performance, right? So he's in the last year of his deal. He's gonna be hungry. He's gonna want to play well. He's gonna want to keep his head on straight. He's gonna want to not make any waves, and he's familiar with Adam Peters. So him getting with Jaden Daniels right now is really going to help his value. And I think he will fit what we like to do here and be Dan Quinn said he's a dog competitor. He'll be a dog. He'll be the guy that really wants to play well and really want to show that he can ball. So I think it's a great deal. It's a steal for the Commanders. And this goes back to Peters using those relationships, man. Using those, I see a lot of stuff happening with the 49ers. I don't even think they're done with trading with the 49ers. I think something else could be in the
I've been hearing that Brandon Ayuk is not off the table.
Hey, man, you never know, man. You just never know.
Look, and here's the other thing that the John Allen piece of it all has not dropped yet. So,
yeah,
John, he was involved in the trades. He was ultimately not included in the trade. But John Allen is going to get us something. I'm hoping like a 3rd-day pick, or a player,
Yeah.
I don't know if Myles Garrett's going to happen. I don't think the Browns are ready to do that yet. We'll see. They haven't accepted
that. So I don't mean to cut you off. Look,
yeah.
I just got something to say about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Browns are quickly shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh yeah.
If the Browns were smart,
they would have traded him.
They would be so advantageous to do right by him because this is setting a precedence for you coming down the line, right? This is saying that regardless of how well you do, regardless of what you do for the city and how many things you do for the team, it doesn't matter. They're going to waste your career. And I think what Myles Garrett is most afraid of is wasting the rest of his prime years in Cleveland, who is clearly in a constant state of rebuild and who is really like not getting better. Like they're stuck with
They
Deshaun
should
Watson.
not have given up on Johnny Man, not Johnny Manziel.
Baker
They should have
Mayfield.
definitely Baker Mayfield. They shouldn't have given up on Baker Mayfield. That was their big mistake
for sure. And then you get caught in a situation now with Deshaun Watson, who's clearly going backwards, often injured, and you're stuck with that contract. So
and now you got to draft a rookie quarterback with the second overall pick.
So unless he's Jaden Daniels, a copy of Jaden Daniels, you're going to be back in the same cycle. So what Myles Garrett wants, he wants the opportunity to go actually play meaningful football and go and win and have some consistency, for his career. And a guy that's done great by the franchise, like, I mean, that's the unfortunate part of business. Yeah, you don't want anybody to leave you. You want everybody to stay. But in the business, you got to understand, man, you got to take care of the guys that, that took care of you and your franchise. And if you allow him to stay and you make him stay there,
it's going to go sour real fast.
Yep, he's going to show up for work. He's going to do his job. He's going to play well. He's going to do that. But the first opportunity he can get out of there, he is leaving there. He's not going to be upset about it. He's leaving there, and you will never see him again. He's not going to come back to go in your Ring of Fame. He's not going to live in the city of Cleveland. He will be gone and then fully associated to a new franchise. So I think you do it now while you can get a haul for him while you're already rebuilding. The Cleveland Browns are rebuilding. They're not going to do anything this season. So when you have a piece like this, you have an asset like Myles Garrett, you have to use him up and get him out the door, because you can literally have a return of a draft haul and really build your franchise, in one offseason.
Because if I'm the Commanders, I'm offering two first and John Allen.
Hey, I mean, and look, to get a guy like Myles Garrett, he's worth it.
Yeah, he's worth it.
Jonathan Allen is already going to seek a trade. I say a first this year and a first next year. I would hope that a first like a first this year and like a first in not the next draft but the year after that. Like I was hoping you could space it out maybe.
This is not the NBA. I don't think NFL guys
they won't let you go out that far. Right. Nah. But I mean, I was just saying, whatever it takes to get it done, if he's willing to come to you and you can do it, like get it done.
He wants to come to us. He said that he would fill in a hole for us. And look, I've been listening to Rio and Lake Lewis. Lake Lewis has been dropping little hints saying that we might be going after Max Crosby too. I would love to see that, of course. We'll see.
Lake is locked in, man.
Lake is locked in at the combine right now, man.
When Lake talks, you guys better listen, man. He knows what he's talking about. He broke that Deebo trade. He told me about that trade the other day before we got on live. Ooh. He had told me, he was like, "Hey, be on the lookout," because I recorded Lake's podcast the other night on the Fan Podcast. He's like, "Hey, just be on the lookout. Some news might be coming this weekend." That's all I'm gonna say. Sure enough, the
Lake
next day,
knows, and like I said, I've been hearing, and I'm not Lake Lewis, obviously. I'm not a reporter, but the Brandon Ayuk stuff. No.
You have hair.
But no, I've been hearing, Brandon Ayuk. They've tried to make that happen this year. They got to pay Brock Purdy. If I'm the 49ers, I don't pay Brock Purdy.
It's not even worth it, man. He's
a game manager. Nothing wrong with a game manager, but I'm not paying him $50 million. I'm paying him the Daniel Jones price, the $40 million a year.
You're better off starting. You're better off drafting another quarterback and building that way. But the 49ers still think their window is open, and I believe that window has closed for the 49ers. But they still think it's open.
That Paris Campbell thing last year was such a bad taste that left in my mouth about the 49ers, too.
For sure.
I honestly think it's not any fault to his own. Well, maybe a little bit, but I don't think that their head coach makes it 2 more seasons.
Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle Shanahan makes it 2 more seasons.
Yeah, that man ran his course. I mean, he's an excellent coach.
He's an excellent coach.
Here, but I think it's just like that's what it is. Like when you can't take advantage and get those wins, like teams that just move on from you, and
he has lost 3 Super Bowls, including him as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
so
and I don't think it's completely an indictment of him. I just think that sometimes you just can't get it done, and it might be better off for him to get a new start somewhere else, a fresh start somewhere else. And San Francisco is going to have to retool because they're about to invest $50 to $60 million a season in Brock Purdy, and that's just not it.
It's not.
He doesn't effectively pass the ball enough for him to be tied up for him to tie up, 30 to 40% of your salary cap,
No.
and for y'all to win successfully. So,
gosh, it's nice to have a guy only entering his second year of a rookie deal.
Man,
I gotta
say you got 2 more years before you even have to talk about money,
even
because you got the 5th-year option. You conceivably can have Jaden Daniels in your building for so, 3 more years after this year. That'd be the 5th year. You could franchise him twice. So you could
we ain't franchising that, man.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you can conceivably have him in your building for the next 7 years.
We are not Dak Prescotting this, okay? We are not Dak Prescott.
We won't have to, because he'll have a Super Bowl before then, and they'll instantly go back to the table and want to
yeah. Speaking of renegotiating, Terry seems like he's going to get that pretty soon. Renegotiation of the deal.
Yeah, he's earned it. Terry's a great player. He's earned that, and I think the team is better with Terry in house. He's been one of those guys. So I think that won't be no question. The first opportunity they get to re-up him and get him a good deal, he'll be a Commander forever, man.
I was about to say, is he a Commander for life? Is he going?
For sure.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. We haven't had any of those recently. It's nice to think about that now, right?
Absolutely.
So we kind of just jumped into it because football, we got to jump into it. Yeah. But I didn't really get to ask you at the beginning, and for our fans that don't know you, DH, what got you into Commanders football, and what brought you to where you are now?
Well, being born got me into Commanders football. Man,
there we go.
I'm a 3rd generation Commanders fan. Well, Washington.
Well, yeah.
But I grew up, man. I grew up right here in the DMV. My pops, lived in the city. My pops used to go to games as a youngster. My pops played his city championship. My pops went to Dunbar High School. He graduated in 1980. Played the city championship in RFK Stadium.
There you go.
It's been in the blood. So when I grew up, man, I always been a football head, man. I love the game of football. I love the colors. I love the strategy behind the game. So I just always have been a fan of football per se. And then, being a fan of the Burgundy and Gold in the glory years, man. Being born in 1985, I'm telling my age, I'm a little old now. But
just a little bit older.
Right. Getting a chance to see Doug Williams win the Super Bowl. I remember being a young 2-year-old, and I do have a vague memory of this, of just seeing him on TV playing Denver. Him being the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, me as a youngster thinking he was my cousin because he had the last name Williams, you know what I'm saying? So, and it truly not being the case, but, just kind of believing that. So just watching the team in the glory years, being able to come up, and then hanging through the 90s, the beginning of the 90s where, beating Buffalo in the Super Bowl was an amazing time. I was 6 years old. And then the down years, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It really teaches you about fandom and really sticking to your team and just seeing what they do. Getting into your adult years where, you can look at the game a little more intently. You start traveling, seeing other teams. You start scouting, watching other things. And after my football career ended in high school, I got into coaching. So I've been coaching almost 20 years on all different levels, from 5 years old to 16 years old. What
position you play in high school?
Oh, man, I was offensive and defensive line, man. I was a center. I was a captain as center, and then I played defensive tackle.
You a small dude to be playing on the line.
I know, man. But in high school, I was a big dude. Considered.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But, I was smart. That's how my coach did me.
There you go. When you undersized, you got to be smarter and tougher than everybody else.
You got to know how to work, man. You got to be scrappy. So
I didn't play football, but I played basketball, and I had the same problem because I'm 5'10" playing power forward.
I see.
Yeah.
See? So you got to be crafty to play, those positions. But out of high school, I just began coaching. I had a couple internships with some other programs. I had an internship with the Detroit Lions. I got a chance to see the inner workings of the league itself. They had a family member that was in the league, so I got a chance to be around organizations.
Can you name drop for us?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my first cousin, Dre Bly, used to play for the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry, the UNC Tar Heels. So he's a corner there. And being able to go to Detroit and see him play there, being in Denver when he played there, and then when he had his coaching career at UNC, I was able to be around that program a whole lot.
That's cool.
So just being in the game, studying, man. I read a lot of books on football. I'm really a student of the game and just a nerd. So I love when I see new things. I watch film like I coach full time, and I don't, but I'm just into it, man. The strategy of football, like just the love of the game, and it translates to my team, to the Commanders. Where of course I look at them first, but I'll say this. I don't know I'm rambling, but
No,
I'll
you
say
good,
this,
you
man.
good.
With football has been a great game to me. I think football is the ultimate team game. Football really teaches you about really doing it for the man or woman next to you.
Mm-hmm.
So football taught me a whole lot of adages that I can use for life in the corporate world, in business, and doing many different things. You got to be a team player, be able to work well with others, be able to strategize with others, and be able to effectively do things together to win. So that's kind of why I love the game of football, because it really translates across all genres of everything in life of what you do. And then the game is ever evolving. It's always something happening. It's always new techniques, new skills, new offenses, new defenses, new ways to play the game, and new ways to tweak it. So I kind of do that now with my training. I train high school kids, and I do train some middle school kids for football, like private sessions. I got a quarterback right now who's gonna be he's gonna be amazing. He's a freshman going into his 10th grade year, so he's gonna be amazing. I got a couple D linemen that are sophomores right now. So just teaching them the nuances of the game and just being in tune with them. And as the game, develops and evolves, that's just kind of my piece with it. I didn't have the ability to play a long time. High school injuries, didn't go to college to play ball. So it's just the knowledge and the love for the game is kind of what's keeping me going. And with that, keeping me going with the Commanders, seeing how successful we are, being able to get season tickets and do different things like that to be in the organization, man. It just feels amazing, especially when your team is winning. So it feels like it's all worth it, man. The 40 years of fandom of the game of football and now with the team doing well is just making it so much easier for me to love the game and to love what we're doing here in Washington.
Dude, I love that story. That's great. My uncle was a diehard, Redskins fan.
Yeah.
And I've when I was a little kid, I couldn't care less about football, if I'm being honest. But when I started, getting into middle school and stuff, that's when I started picking it up. And then I was like, you know what, my uncle liked that team. I'm gonna go ahead and roll with it. I remember my first season watching was 2005. Mark Brunell, Clem Portis, Joe Gibbs. Yeah,
that was a good time to hop on, man, because they were good.
They were good that season, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Clint Portis
then we had to deal
amazing.
with the Todd Collins of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But we had some great players, Sean Taylor, rest in peace. Santana Moss was a great player for us.
D Hall.
Yes, D Hall, Chris Samuels, having, Joe Gibbs. I'm sorry, having Joe Gibbs being able to relive that, amazing time, man.
Absolutely. So just some quick hitters before we leave.
Sure.
A lot of people, and I'm going to call my co-host on our main pod, Maurice, is saying now that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. I don't agree. I'll give him top 10, sure, because he won a Super Bowl and been to 2 in 3 years, right? But is he really a top 5 quarterback? Where do you have Jalen Hurts?
Well, I think that it's a recency bias, right? He played
there is that, yep.
And he won the Super Bowl. You can't really take that from him.
Of course not.
I mean, but you look at it, he's gone to 2 Super Bowls, in a short period of time. He's won one. And he's played well. And I don't think, I think you can rate him as high as you want, but as far as overall quarterbacking, I don't think he does enough as a quarterback as far as passing the ball to be rated as high, but that's why they're your rankings. You can rank them wherever you like to. That
is very true. Very true.
But I definitely say top 10.
I would say top 10. Yeah.
But top 5, that's a tough class to break into.
I'm even hesitant, but J5 in there. I don't know. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah,
personally.
No, that's tough. If anything,
but
I think
he's sick. Anyway, but no. I will say this. We got the full off season. We'll definitely see that. Would love to have you on the main pod at some point, probably before draft time. Hopefully, more Commanders news breaks in the coming weeks. Maybe another trade. Maybe for an edge or another 49ers wide receiver. We'll see. We ain't getting T. Higgins. They're gonna franchise tag.
Nah, yeah, we're not doing that.
But you know what? There are plenty of moves to be made. I will definitely keep in touch with you. How about you let our listeners know where to find you, okay?
Yes, of course, man. Of course, Lucas, man, I appreciate you having me on your show, man. And I appreciate what you're doing on the channel, man. It's a big deal, and I thank you for having me. You can find me at Breaking Command Entertainment on YouTube. That's where you'll find my flagship show, The Afternoon Kick, with myself and Rio Robinson, which is ramping back up. It'll be a new live episode this Wednesday, posted this week, so you can definitely check that out. Breaking Command Entertainment on YouTube. And then also you can find me on all the socials at D Will on the mic, on Instagram and Threads. You can find me there, D Will on the mic, where it's a lot of fun stuff, man. Some acting, some voice acting, some comedy, some, family stuff, some commander stuff, man, a little bit of everything, man. So D Will on the mic, you can find me there. And of course, Breaking Command Entertainment on YouTube. Check us out, man. A lot of stuff on there.
Awesome. I will make sure that we subscribe to you if we haven't already. And thank you again for coming on. Very much appreciated. Remember, guys, this was DC Football 101 presented by 14 Rings at NFC East Podcast. And if you want to follow us more, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.